the bee machine escape.
Hi there, I'm going to talk to you about the beam machine.
The year is now 2989, and things on Earth are doing fine. But back 1,000 years or so, our prospects were quite touch and go. The world was in a dreadful state, and people thought, we best not wait, we'll send our children into space. Perhaps they'll find another place where good old humankind can thrive, in case the Earth does not survive. In case the Earth does not survive.
I was then known as Mr. Jackson from 6J. I was in my early 40s with an MA, a PGCE and a VTGG. I had special responsibility for primary mathematics. I was also invariably doing hymn practice for 360 children every Monday morning for about an hour. It was the perfect opportunity to road test my new songs. It was a time of dramatic and somewhat crazy revision and evolution in primary education in the county of Berkshire. New young advisors were trying to make a name for themselves and made our lives, let alone the poor kids, very stressful in every subject area. My mathematics post demanded that I extend and test the revised curriculum from the 5 original attainment targets up to 14. I was newest to teaching, and the older and wiser teachers said it had all gone completely mad. In the mid-1980s, our new senior primary education advisor sent out a decree saying all local schools must submit some public art to celebrate my big idea called BEAM, Berkshire Education Achieving More. I was about to do my class assembly, so I wrote a quick cynical song called Bee Machine. Everybody was a fan of Star Trek in those TV days, so Beam Me, Beam Machine was the obvious hook to replace Beam Me Up, Scotty! My song was designed to poke fun at all the stressful changes going on in the school curriculum. My class and then the whole school loved my new song and all the dramatic aspects of a live performance. A Noah's Ark that's new, hey, children, form a queue, etc., etc. I had already created a few new songs for the class assemblies and projects earlier, including Looking Out There, an environmental song, Orion, Greek mythology, and Things Mathematical. Music, dancing, speaking in rhyme, all these depend upon fractions of time. The school head teacher, Tony Ludford, encouraged me to teach 4 of my new songs to the whole school and record them to make a cassette tape for the Beam Public Art event. Well, I made the backing tracks on a Roland D20 keyboard and recorded it all on the Tascam 244 cassette machine. A local churchman made hundreds of cassette copies for us, and the children made individual, unique cassette box covers with informational enclosures. They all got sold, I suppose, but if there was a county competition, I don't think we won it. What made this really special is there was a competition in the school. Everybody entered and designed their own version of the Bee Machine. By common consent and public vote, the one that won the whole competition at this point was this image here. It looks remarkably like an egg cup. Like an egg in an egg cup. Musical competitions were quite common in those days. I remember when we were doing the local Stranger Danger Awareness competition at Reading's Hexagon, where St Paul's Choir came second, I had been duly arrested on stage by our charming school policeman, P.C. Blewett. It was during my dodgy saxophone solo, and I had been handing out sweets to the children from the pockets of my old Macintosh. By now, all the local teachers had gotten to hear my songs, and I was eventually commissioned by WASMA to write a big follow-up to The Seasons Are Changing, a suite I'd previously written for a Berkshire Schools music event sometime after the Beam cassette story. There were 11 schools in the Wokingham Schools Music Association, WASMA. I pulled all my recent songs together and wrote loads more to suit my burgeoning dramatic story idea based around that original Beam Machine song, which by now had new words and an altogether better purpose. It became a fantastical story about children having to leave the damaged Earth to find new planets, which actually started during the 1980s. All the songs were tried and tested by my class and eventually by the whole school. My daughter Dorrie and her friend Emily Barnett recorded them all. The final 14 songs were sent out on multiple cassette tapes to all the schools to be learned.
The bravest kids there's ever been all climbed into their beamer machine, and off they went, some near, some far, to find new homes among the stars. And so mankind spread, till today we're all across the Milky Way. The Milky Way. Milky Way.
Well, Tony, my head, had suggested the names and characteristics of 3 planets that the Beam Machine crew might save from imminent calamity.
I'll tell you now, before you ask, why children had to do this task, and adults simply cannot go. I'll tell you why in just a mo.
They all had serious psychological damage and behavioural issues, all actually caused by the Beam Machine itself. The faults lay in the sleep learning program called PermaSnore that had been developed especially to enable children to survive the endless time travelling required. The Beam planets are Egos, where no one had any empathy whatsoever. The planet Apathos, where everyone was clinically depressed. And Agros, where everybody was morbidly aggressive. Berkshire County Music, which included my son Jake on euphonium, supplied me with excellent young musicians to play the full wind band and rock band scores that I'd made. The first performance of Beam Machine Star Messenger 2989 involved 300 singers, about 150 dancers, and the 12 crew from those 11 schools. Well, the naming of the show, Beam Machine Star Messenger 2989, it was set exactly 1,000 years after the first imaginary beam machine left our damaged Earth with a crew of young children in an attempt to guarantee the survival of mankind.
Things are getting worse.
In 1990, I needed a break, so I started to work part-time in different kinds of jobs. I got a new job at the Arc at Southall Park, Bracknell, involving music and disability. It was whilst there that I soon discovered the ingenious MIDI controller called Soundbeam. I was, of course, first intrigued and attracted by just the name, but I actually immediately fell in love with the machine and with the enormous musical ingenuity it contained and its potential and its inevitable evolution. And of course, I'm still in love with it today. We're back now with the school's Beam Machine show premiered in the Bracknell Sports Stadium in 1996. For the Beam Machine crew of 12, I created a 4 Soundbeam 1 system whereby both the children crew and the dancers could brilliantly play all the atmospheric, musical and sound effect patches needed for the show. We built a hexagonal prism for our Beam Machine and covered it in black gauze. The crew were rendered visible and invisible just by lighting effects. The sound beams themselves were projected using mirrors along light beams of the exact same 18-degree spread. It worked astoundingly well, and the beams were played by the crew inside and then again outside when the Beam Machine landed on the planet as the light sound beams were extended. The crew were now searching for inhabitants to be rescued and cured by the very musical beams themselves. It is a remarkable and delightful coincidence that a soundbeam sensor spreads an ultrasonic cone of 18 degrees, which is exactly the same cone shape as a saxophone, the instrument that I learned as a teenager and for which I'm possibly still best known. 25 years ago to this very day, I was in London at the Royal Festival Hall at a Peter Hamill gig. In the foyer, I met the most interesting young Spanish guy called Ricardo. Ricardo Odriozola brilliantly transcribed my original score for me into a full orchestral masterpiece. And he added marvellous strings too, which were far beyond my skill set then, well and now. He is determined for the Beam Machine to survive and has the vision, the skills and the determination to make it happen. Hooray! You'll end up with the music, the story and amazing imagery. And you'll keep it forever. And you'll be able to share it with everybody forever. Remember, Beam Machine is not just a kid's show. It's for everybody. The message is universal. Please join the crowdfunding.